Our journey to parenthood became a living nightmare when our surrogate faked a miscarriage, stealing our hope and trust. The emotional toll was immense, but we refused to be victims. Join us as we reveal the strategic, unprecedented legal steps we took to expose this betrayal and secure our parental rights. We'd dreamed of this moment for years. After multiple failed attempts at conception and 3 heartbreaking rounds of IVF, surrogacy became our beacon of hope. When Emma agreed to carry our child, we thought our prayers had finally been answered. She seemed perfect, warm, compassionate, experienced. She'd been a surrogate twice before with glowing references. I still remember decorating the nursery. My wife Sarah painted clouds on the ceiling while I assembled the crib, both of us crying happy tears. We chose soft, yellow walls because we wanted to be surprised by the gender. Every ultrasound photo went straight onto our refrigerator. Emma sent us weekly updates, bump pictures, voice notes about feeling the baby kick. We were building a family, or so we believed. Then came the call that shattered everything. It was a Tuesday evening. Emma's voice was trembling, barely audible through her sobs. "I'm so sorry," she whispered. "I started bleeding this morning. They couldn't find a heartbeat. The baby's gone." The world stopped spinning. Sarah collapsed to the floor, a primal scream tearing from her throat that I'll never forget. Our dream had died at 22 weeks, or so we were told. The grief was suffocating, all-consuming, but within that grief, something didn't sit right. Emma had seemed fine just 2 days earlier during our video call. The medical facility she claimed to have visited didn't match the hospital we'd agreed upon in our contract. When we asked for documentation, she became evasive, promising to send everything once she felt strong enough. Days passed. Her responses became shorter, more defensive. Then she stopped answering altogether. Grief has a way of sharpening your instincts when something's wrong. Sarah, despite her devastation, noticed Emma had posted a photo on social media, a seemingly innocent coffee shop picture, but her profile was still visible in the reflection of the window. She looked healthy, radiant even, with what appeared to be a very prominent baby bump. That's when we hired a private investigator. What we uncovered was beyond comprehension. Emma hadn't miscarried. She was still very much pregnant. Medical records obtained through our attorney revealed she'd continued prenatal appointments at a completely different clinic under a slightly altered name. She'd fabricated the entire miscarriage, likely planning to either keep our biological child or arrange a private adoption for profit. The smoking gun came from her own medical provider. Through a legal subpoena, we obtained an ultrasound dated 3 days after she'd claimed to lose the baby. The image showed a healthy, developing fetus, our child, alive and thriving. The radiologist's notes confirmed gestational age matching our embryo transfer date perfectly. I held that ultrasound image in my trembling hands, torn between overwhelming relief and soul-crushing betrayal. Our baby was alive, but someone we trusted completely had tried to steal our child while we mourned a death that never happened. Sarah and I sat in stunned silence that night, rage and hope warring within us. Emma hadn't just lied. She'd orchestrated an elaborate scheme to rob us of parenthood itself. We had 48 hours before she could disappear completely. Most surrogacy attorneys handle contract disputes, custody arrangements, straightforward cases. This was anything but. We needed someone who thought like a prosecutor, someone willing to go to war. We found Margaret Chen, a family law specialist who'd previously worked in fraud investigation. Her first words to us were, "This isn't just breach of contract, this is kidnapping in progress." Margaret assembled what she called a shock and awe legal strategy. First, we filed an emergency motion for custody and immediate DNA testing to establish parental rights. But here's where it got unconventional. We simultaneously filed criminal complaints for fraud, theft by deception, and conspiracy. We weren't just suing Emma, we were building a criminal case. We also obtained an emergency restraining order preventing her from leaving the state or making any decisions regarding the pregnancy without court approval. Within 72 hours, we'd frozen her bank accounts and placed legal holds on any potential adoption proceedings. We subpoenaed her phone records, emails, and financial transactions. The most unexpected move. We petitioned the court to appoint a guardian ad litem for our unborn child, someone to legally represent the baby's interests separate from Emma or us. It was almost unprecedented in surrogacy law, but Margaret argued that our child was the victim of an ongoing crime and needed independent protection. When Emma's attorney received our 40-page legal filing, his response was apparently just stunned silence followed by, "What the hell is this?" They'd expected a standard surrogacy dispute. Instead, we declared total legal warfare, utilizing statutes nobody had combined in quite this way before. Emma's lawyer immediately requested an emergency meeting. She hadn't anticipated we'd fight back this hard, this fast, or this comprehensively. The courtroom battles were brutal. Emma's defense tried to paint us as aggressive, claiming she'd legitimately believed she'd miscarried due to spotting and miscommunication with medical staff. They produced a therapist who testified about her traumatic confusion. But Margaret was relentless, methodically presenting phone records showing Emma researching adoption attorneys and private placement procedures the same week she'd announced the miscarriage. The most damning evidence: text messages we'd uncovered between Emma and an unknown number discussing maximum payment for a healthy newborn, and those intended parents will never know. The number traced back to an illegal adoption broker operating across state lines. Emma wasn't acting alone. This was a coordinated scheme. The emotional toll of these proceedings was staggering. Every court appearance meant reliving the betrayal while fighting for a child we'd never held but loved desperately. Sarah testified through tears about decorating a nursery for a baby we'd been told was dead. I described the grief counseling we'd started, the memorial service we'd nearly planned. The turning point came when the judge ordered an immediate ultrasound in a court-approved medical facility with all parties present. Watching our baby move on that screen, seeing the heartbeat we'd been told had stopped, was simultaneously the most beautiful and most painful moment of our lives. Emma couldn't maintain her story anymore. The evidence was literally kicking on a monitor in front of a judge. The final ruling came faster than anyone expected. The judge terminated Emma's rights regarding decisions about the pregnancy, awarded us full custody upon birth, and ordered her to continue prenatal care at a facility of our choosing under medical supervision. Emma was also charged with multiple felonies related to fraud and conspiracy. 6 weeks later, our daughter Lily was born. We were in the delivery room, a surreal, complicated moment where joy and trauma existed simultaneously. Emma didn't hold her. We took our baby home that very day, thanks to the pre-birth orders secured through our legal offensive. The aftermath has been complex. We've invested in therapy, individual and couples, to process the betrayal and trauma. Sarah still struggles with trust issues, and I battle anger I didn't know I could feel. But every time Lily laughs, every milestone she reaches, it reminds us why we fought so hard. We didn't just win a legal battle, we reclaimed our future from someone who tried to steal it. To anyone facing unthinkable betrayal, document everything, trust your instincts, and fight like hell. The system can work when you refuse to be a victim. Our daughter exists because we didn't accept the lies we were told. Justice isn't always swift, and it's rarely easy, but when you're fighting for your child, your future, surrender isn't an option. Lily is 3 now. She'll never know how hard we had to fight for her, but she'll always know she was wanted, fought for, and loved beyond measure. That's a promise worth any battle.